Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Calvin. You are on the Simple Driver channel. Welcome back. All right, so today's video, we're going to be talking about the 20 questions that will actually make Uber drivers money. Now, a lot of these questions are asked, but they are answered in the wrong way, which will cost you a ton of money. So I am going to tell you how I actually use these questions to make a ton of money. So let's just talk about it a little bit. Now, before I get to the questions, you guys know I like to set my video up at the beginning so you can understand exactly what we're doing. So with these questions, understand that you're a business owner. When you, as an Uber driver, you're a business owner. So let's just use an example here. Is if you went into a restaurant, right? And a customer walked up to you and said, hey, do you like being, say it was a barbecue restaurant, and they walked in, they said, do you like, being a barbecue owner or whatever? And you said, I hate it. I hate the pit. I hate the heat. I hate, customers come in. I can't stand the sound of people sucking their fingers or whatever. The customer's kind of like to themselves like, okay, right? You're probably not going to get a good rating because remember, there's apps out there that actually rate restaurant owners, the food and all kind of stuff, right? So you're probably not going to get a good rating. The person serving your customers probably not going to get a tip. Let's just stop right there. Uber is the same way. It's your business. If you're negative to your customers, it's going to reflect in your tips. It's going to reflect in your rating. I'm going to show you how to use these 20 questions that if you are an Uber driver or thinking about becoming an Uber driver, you will get these questions, okay? Period, point blank, end of discussion. You will get them, okay? So let's just talk about how you can flip them and make money, right? The reason that you want to flip these to make money is because it's going to allow you to do three things here. It's going to allow you to, I got my Evernote app here. You guys know I like looking at my Evernote app. I wish I could make some money off of referring Evernote. I probably can, but I'm not going to do it because you just should have it. It will help you organize your life. Let me get back to it. Okay, B2C, right? I told you 6 ways to get paid as an Uber driver, okay? So number one, you're going to be able to forge a lot of relationships and you're going to be able to pitch your business. The business that you currently do as an Uber driver, yet you're thinking about doing. Now, people have been emailing me and asking me, Calvin, how are you pitching your photography, videography business when you're driving, all right? Like, is that ethical? Like, how do you do that in an ethical way? How do you not sound like a butthole? That's kind of corny, right? And I've been answering those people, but I'm here to tell you, I never pitch my photography business ever. I just simply control the conversation in my vehicle. So I'm gonna get to that in a minute. The next thing, like I mentioned here, forging relationships. You never know who you have in your vehicle. People like myself, remember when I go out of town on freelance jobs, I'm an Uber passenger, right? I call for Uber all the time to get around in the city. But the drivers who are negative, they never know that I'm the simple driver. They never know that I have a wealth of information that I can share with them to increase their daily income on the spot because they're negative. They don't forge a relationship. Forge a relationship. Get business cards. There are some people that you ride in your vehicle. They are special to you. They are special to what is going to happen to you in your life, okay? And the third thing is tips. You will not only start getting more frequent tips, but those tips will be higher when you treat these questions like business questions and questions that will help you earn money. I'm gonna show you how to do it, okay? So let's get right to it. The people who ask you these questions, they're one of 4 things, okay? Here we go. They are either nosy, which is fine. You got people that they just want to know, okay? So they're nosy, and that's cool. Number 2, they want to be an Uber driver. They're thinking about supplementing their income or subsidizing income, whatever, okay? They're thinking about becoming an Uber driver, so they're asking you questions, okay? And depending on how you answer those questions will decide whether they want to be an Uber driver, okay? And I'm going to show you how to turn them into an Uber driver on the spot, okay? Number 3, true customers. These people just want to get from A to B. They get in your vehicle. They don't want to do much talking. They may ask you a couple questions, but they are true customers, and they're gonna judge you based on how you treat them as a customer. Okay. And then number 4, you have people that will get in your vehicle and they will ask you questions because they're testing your knowledge and they're testing who you are as a driver so that they can decide how they want to rate you. I call them straight up raters. Okay. These people are serious about giving you a true rating. So when they're asking you questions and stuff like that, depending on how you answer those questions, you're gonna get docked on your rating. So be careful. So let's get into these questions. I'm gonna kind of go through and answer some of them a little bit, but then I'm just gonna go through the questions, and I'm gonna list these questions on a blog post so that you can actually get them, because you need to know how to answer these questions. You need to start practicing. Okay. All right, so I'm going to answer probably the first 2 questions so I can tell you how this actually works, okay? So number 1, how long have you been driving? If it's in the daytime, I know that person is probably asking me, how long have I been driving for Uber, period, okay? If it's at nighttime, I'm deeming that they're asking me, how long have I been driving, like, that day. All right, so let's just pretend that it's the daytime and I'm getting that question, so how long have you been driving? You say, oh, I've been driving for Uber, for about, now about 5 or 6 months or whatever. I love it, right? And then I'm quiet. And then the next thing that'll happen, they'll say, oh, well, what do you love about it? Because I hear a lot of Uber drivers say that they hate Uber and they're negative. They say they're not paying you guys. Is that, oh, I love this, because now it gives me an opportunity to tell this person what the real is. I'm saying, that's not the case for me. I make a ton of money every single week in the tune of $500 to $1,500 consistently when I'm driving. Do you have your cell phone? Of course they do. I know they have their cell phone, but remember, I'm controlling the conversation. So do you have your cell phone? Oh yeah, I got it right here. Pull up thesimpledriver.com. I have a website. Let's go to it right now so you can see exactly how much money I make, right? I got them. I'm turning this person into money, okay? So now we're gonna have a conversation about the money that I'm making, and if they wanna sign up, then all they gotta do is click the start here button, right? And I'll say, even if you don't wanna be an Uber driver and you have family members who like yourself, and then I always give them a compliment. Family members like yourself who are smart, who are using Uber, they can get free rides. See that little red button at the top of my website? Click that red button. Your family members who've never signed up for Uber can get their first ride, first $15 to $20 on me. I look like a hero. I'm a 5-star driver. I just gave away free rides to their family members. Hello? When you give someone, I just told you guys, when I give someone thesimpledriver.com, it just doesn't stop there. I've had people take my website and put it on their Facebook page and it go viral. You can wake up to $2,000-$3,000 on stuff like that, okay? So it's not a game. That's how you do that. Number 2, how much money do you make? A lot of people are gonna ask you that. This is a potential Uber driver. This is someone who probably wants to subsidize their income, right? So the way I answer that question, again, you already know, right? $500 to $1,500 consistently a week, right? And then I go in there and I tell them, do you have your cell phone? Pull your cell phone out, right? Or if I'm driving, so I might double click my home button, because with Apple, if you double click the home button, I always have my website pulled up. I always have Waze pulled up. I always have the Uber app pulled up, and I always have Mile IQ pulled up. And sometimes I have my Instagram page pulled up. So I double click my home button. It's easy for me to just do one little quick swipe, hit my website, and my website now is right there on my phone, and they can see my website. I love this thing, okay? So that's how you do it. Let's get to the rest of these questions, and you can kind of figure out how you need to answer them. But when you answer these questions, you're always trying to either protect your rating, okay, to make sure that it continues to stay high, or you're trying to send them to your website so that you can make referral money, so that you can give away free rides, which also boosts up your rating and also helps your money, or you're giving them solid answers to make sure that you can get a great tip, okay? So let's go through the rest of the questions. How did you become an Uber driver? You can see how that is going to get right into me getting to my photography business, how I'm going to answer that question, right? Because I'm going to let them know, I was looking for ways to make some extra money to grab some lenses that I want, right? Specialty lenses like fisheye lenses, or 70 to 300 millimeter or 100 to 300 millimeter lenses or something like that. Lenses I don't use all the time, and they cost $2,000 to $3,000. So Uber's a great way for me to go ahead and make some extra money so that I can afford those. Oh, great. You're a photographer? I didn't know that. Now I'm getting ready to start hitting them with the photography information. You have your phone. Let's pull up Gorilla Shooter, right? This is child's play, okay? All right. Where are you from? How long have you been driving in the city? Okay. Do you like driving for Uber? Be careful how you answer that question. This is a rating question. If you're negative, you're not going to get a good rating. Okay. Be careful how you answer that question. What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you as an Uber driver? Okay. Do you get bad passengers? These people are trying to figure out where they are on the passenger list. The way I answer that question, I always let them know I don't get too many bad passengers. You know, my passengers are pretty cool. The conversation is great. You know what I mean? Especially when I'm talking to them about their rating. Oh, I love the saying that, because a lot of people don't know that as a passenger, they don't know that they have a rating. We can see their rating, but they're not even aware that they get rated. Okay. So now I'm able to have that conversation, which also balances me getting high ratings, right? Because I always say the conversations I'm having, my passengers are cool. We have good conversations, and I like rating them 5 stars, right? So now I'm planted in their head. Listen, you can get rated as a passenger, fella or ma'am, right? So we're having this great conversation, but I've already planted in their head that when you get out, you probably want to give me a 5-star rating because you can get rated as well. I'm just telling you how this stuff works, how I'm able to just easily make 5 stars and get a bunch of money, okay? All right. Is Uber driving dangerous? Okay. I like answering that question with, you know, it's just like any other business. There's some risk to it. You know, just getting in your vehicle and driving is risky, right? So there's some risk, but I wouldn't say it's any more risk than, you know, an airplane pilot or a taxi driver. What, you know, you have that type of conversation, and then you know, some people say, you know, oh, I heard this, that, and that, and then you let them know. When Uber was first established, when it was a very young infant of a business, there was some stupid stuff that happened, but it hasn't been very many stupid things that happen. The more Uber matures, the more people understand the platform and how it works, all that stuff starts to go away, and you're still gonna have some bad apples, but it's not nowhere near as much as what happened when Uber was trying to get off the ground. And that's with any business. So, you know, that's how you answer that. All right. Number 10, anyone ever vomit in your car? I don't know why people want to know if that has ever happened, but you're going to get that answer you're going to get that question. I don't understand why the answer, but you will get it. Okay. Can I smoke in here? I can't believe this question, but people will ask you, can they smoke in your vehicle? For me, it is a non-smoking vehicle. No, you cannot. Okay. Which is also followed by another question that you will get, can I bring this drink in? You will pick up people who are on their way to the clubs or something like that, and they're approaching your vehicle with the red Solo cup, and they want to know, can they bring it in your vehicle? What? No, this is not Las Vegas, which you can in some cabs carry a drink in the taxi in Las Vegas, but I'm not a taxi. I'm a personal driver, and you cannot bring that Solo cup in my vehicle. I'm not even interested in it. Okay, check your laws in your city. It may be different, but in Atlanta, it ain't happening. All right. How much do you drive? Another potential question, a person who is probably looking to become an Uber driver. How much do you drive? Love answering that. You know, I'm going to send them to the website. Okay. How's your day going? Right. Be careful how you answer this question. This is a rating question. Okay. And it also can help you get larger tips depending on how you answer that question. Okay. Did you just start driving today? Because this is another rating question. People want to know, are you tired? Okay, because if you miss a turn or something like that, they're gonna be like, you've been out here too long or whatever, you know. So careful how you answer that question. How long you been driving today? All right. Do you have a phone charger? This one is an obvious one. This is a rating question. Okay. If you don't have a charger, you may take a ding on that, especially if the person's phone is about to die. You are not a 5-star driver. Okay. Do you have any gum in here? By the way, I don't keep gum, candy, or water in my vehicles because it's just an extra expense, and I never need condiments to have high ratings. So it's a personal preference. So for some of you who do have those things in your vehicle and you're using it to your advantage, that's totally fine. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I just personally don't do it because it's just an extra expense. And I've never needed a piece of gum or a bottle of water or some candy to make my ratings high. I know too much about other stuff that keeps my ratings high. Okay, but so that's just another expense that I don't want to have. But for those of you who do have that stuff in there, if you watch my tax video, then that is an expense because it's something that you're buying to make sure that your business goes well. So write it off. All right, I'm not a CPA, but. All right, here we go. Do you know where you're going? First of all, I don't know why people ask this question, but you will get it. Yes, you don't want to answer this in a smart aleck way. You just want to pull up your app and you want to say, you know, got here, whatever the address is or whatever, and then you let them know. For me, you know, hey, I use Waze, because people want to know how I answer my Waze question, right? When using Waze, and how I get away with using my Waze and not get dinged and still get crazy high ratings and stuff like that. Here's how it happens. I pick my passenger up, right? And when my passenger gets in the car and I confirm where we're going, I always let them know. This is exactly what I say. Hey, I use the Waze app, which is a pretty cool app. Have you ever heard of Waze? A lot of times people say, oh, I love Waze. Heck yeah, man. I use those. Say, cool. I use the Waze app. But if you have a personal preference, if you see somewhere where we need to make a left or right turn that's different from what Waze is telling us, just jump right in there, dude. And they're like, oh, yeah, cool, Kyle, man. That's what's up. That's exactly how I handle that, right? So even if I'm using Waze and Waze is giving me a way that is normal, they know that it's okay to just jump right in and say, no, Calvin, it's telling you to make a left, right. Just go ahead and bust this right here, man. And then, you know, what that's going to do is it's going to keep us from having to go around. And, oh, cool, man. I appreciate that, Jeff, man. Thanks for chiming in. I appreciate that, dude. Now they feel like they're part of the ride. I'm a 5-star driver, okay? They're not giving me anything less than 5 stars because they feel like they're helping me navigate them to the house. Who wants to give themselves a bad rating? Not me. And that's how you got to handle that, right? Okay. Number 19, how long is this ride going to be? I love this question because it gives me an opportunity, again, for myself to be a 5-star driver. When you're using Waze, remember, Waze is going to give you, as soon as you pull it up, it's going to give you the miles that you have to drive, and it's going to give you an estimated time that's going to take you there. So I always pull it up and I say, oh, we got about 18 minutes. And the cool thing about that is when we get down to about the 5-minute mark, I'll let them know we're about 5 minutes out from our destination. If you need to call or text somebody, you know, we'll be there in about 5 minutes. Oh, Cal, man, I appreciate that. Thanks, man. Let me call Dan right now, or let me text Dan right now. Let them know I'm going to be there. Give me a table. I'm a 5-star driver. I love this question, right? And Waze helps me do that. If you haven't seen my navigation video, how I use Waze, go look at it because you can make an extra $200 a week just from understanding the Waze app, okay? Number 20, how much is this going to cost me, right? A lot of drivers are going to answer that question and they're going to say, I don't know, you know what I mean? I have no idea, whatever, right? But I love getting this question, right? Because when they ask me how much is this going to cost me, the first thing I like to say is like, I'm not really sure, but I can tell you how you can check it out the next time. But one thing I do know for sure is if you were to take a taxi, 9 times out of 10, this trip would have been much less than if you would have taken a taxi. And you know what their response is? Oh, you're absolutely right, man. That's why I took an Uber, right? I'm a 5-star driver. We're having a nice little conversation here. And then I let them know, hey, listen, have you ever checked out the fare estimate? You know, before you take your Uber drive, you make sure you look to see exactly about how much it's going to cost you. Oh, yeah, you know what? I didn't even pay attention to that, man. I was just calling whatever. Yeah, make sure you pay attention to that because that kind of gives you a roundabout how much your money you're going to make. I mean, you're going to spend on your ride, okay? So those are your 20 questions. These are your 20 Uber driver questions that will make you money. Doing a recap, the reason that they will make you money, it affords you an opportunity to pitch your business, right? Always control the conversation. Whatever you do, no matter what they ask you, always turn it around to either pushing them to your website, okay? Pushing them to your business, whatever the business is that you have outside of Uber or that you want to have, right? Set them up for that. Try to get a business card if you can. If there's somebody you deem special, forge that relationship, okay? And answering these questions the right way will increase your tips and make you a lot more money. My name is Calvin. I'm the Simple Driver. Peace.